Couples often get stuck in a predictable conflict cycle. You know the drill. Your partner says something and you can't help but respond in a negative way. Then you're off to the races. Today I want to teach you about how you can use a simple exercise to help stop negative conflict patterns in your relationship. Hi, my name is Tom Bruett and I am a marriage and family therapist with a practice in California and Colorado. I love helping gay couples improve their relationships because it's my belief that by improving our relationships, we can improve our community. And come on guys, we need that. Anything I say here is not meant to take the place of mental health support. If you need a relationship therapist, find one. So most relationships have predictable conflict patterns that you can see coming a mile away. Whether it's money, sex, the house, travel, whatever, there are certain topics that you know will get a rise out of your partner, and vice versa. If either of you is off your game, seemingly small things can quickly escalate into conflicts. I've done other videos describing the way that the brain works in connection with conflict, and I'll put a link in the description below for you to check that out. I want to remind you of a few concepts about the brain right now. Basically, when we are triggered by our partner, using Dan Siegel's hand model of the brain, our thumb is out. That means that our amygdala, the fight, flight, freeze part of the brain, is activated. And it's tough to use our thinking brain or our prefrontal cortex in moments like that. However, with practice, you can develop a toolbox full of resources that you can use when your thumb is out. And it's essential that you try not to have big conflict when you're triggered, because more often than not, it's not going to go well. Let's take an imaginary couple, Tony and Stefan from New Jersey, as an example. I'm originally from New Jersey and I always have a special place in my heart for my home state. Okay, anyway, Tony pulls up the joint credit card on his phone and sees that there was a charge for $500 for self-tanning supplies. Without thinking, he confronts Stefan and says, "You look like an orange." Stefan has a choice at that moment. He can take the bait and respond in kind with, "You're one to talk about how I look. You haven't been to the gym in weeks." But if he does that, they're off to the races and conflict has already started. If Tony and Stefan had known the exercise I'm about to teach you, maybe things would have gone differently. The exercise I'm talking about is called ouch, oops. It's pretty simple in concept, but like most simple things, it takes practice to get it in your bones. Basically, when your partner says something that hurts, instead of responding with an attack or shutting down, you can simply say, ouch. If your partner is in a good place, they can take that as a cue and say, oops, if they didn't mean to say something hurtful. Using the example of Tony and Stefan, if Tony said to Stefan, "You look like an orange," Stefan could have responded with, ouch. Then if Tony was able to take the cue, he could have responded with oops, and conflict averted. From there, they can either take a break until they have cooled down enough to talk about what just happened, or they can continue the conversation. When they re-engage, Tony could say something like, "Oops, I shouldn't have said that. I'm just worried about how much money we're spending on the joint card. Can we talk about that?" Now, anything can be used as a weapon in your relationship, even a positive tool like this. Remember, you're on the same team. If you start getting into a power struggle or using a helpful tool like this as a weapon with your partner, it's probably time to seek support from a professional. Let me say a little bit more about how to use ouch effectively. To put it as simply as possible, when your partner says something that hurts, makes you angry, is painful in any way, then you say ouch. Try and say it as calmly and grounded as you can. Don't scream it at your partner, or it's probably not going to be effective. This is meant to be a way to diffuse conflict and use it as such. Great. Now, what do I do when my partner says ouch? If your partner says ouch, listen to them. It's not a moment to get defensive or push back. It's a moment to slow down, think back on what you just said, and then ideally say, oops. If you're feeling overly optimistic, take some responsibility for what you just said that hurt their feelings. Or if you don't remember what it was that you said that caused the ouch, ask them in a loving, non-defensive way. Again, this will take practice and it will get easier over time. Now, let's talk about how to use oops effectively. Oops can be used preventatively or after your partner says ouch. Thinking back to the example with Tony and Stefan, if Tony had said, "You look like an orange," and then caught himself and said, "Oops, my bad, I'm sorry, that wasn't called for," that would be great. Otherwise, if your partner says ouch, slow down and think about what just happened. Ask questions, take responsibility. Like learning anything new, this will take practice and time. When you're first experimenting with this exercise, it's not going to work out perfectly, and don't expect that it will. Try this out, talk about it together, and then experiment again. Ideally, you'll get to the point where ouch and oops can be used like safe words to stop conflict in its tracks. I've seen many couples use this simple tool to stop repetitive conflicts in their relationship. And with some practice and experimentation, you can do it too. All right, till next time.